Get out the way. Who got a watch? Who got the time? I'm raising the clock. Even in my feelings, grind don't stop. Got big dreams, want big rocks. I got plans, you got talk. Heard it's real cheap, but it's really gon' cost. I'm tryna get these ends, building empires with my friends. I'm about handling my business. No time for stress over bullshit. You think success is an option? I'm tryna get this shit poppin' like woo. Big moves, my rules. Y'all heavy on the tweeting. I'll disappear a whole season like woo. Who said they looking for me? I'ma make you.
Hey DeMarie TV family, so today we're going to be reviewing season 6 episode 23, Hold Her Accountable. And so this scene 1 starts where we left off last week. So Mel is presenting the idea to Keke to take the drug test and shut everybody up. Now, of course, last week this caused the big hoopla because people were pissed, myself included, like, why is she asking her to do this? But after I thought about it, it all made perfect sense. But I did have to step back and think, because that's a bold move to ask somebody on the spot to take a drug test, and you could be offended. Anybody could be offended by that. But Melody's point is to shut them down and just squash all the noise. Now, Keke takes the test, and Keke is, according to this test, clean. So by all accounts, she's vindicated. Now, I'm no expert on drug testing or anything like that, but if she shows up, Melody shows up on the spot, drug test her, and it's negative, it's negative. And that should be the end of that. Do I believe the Scotts are going to quit talking to her about being an addict and just, accept the test that Melody says she gave her on the spot to suffice for them? No, because they need someone else to belittle, to deflect from whatever they're doing. That's just the story. That's how they use their storylines. They never talk about themselves. They have to be speaking about someone else, and they have to have a punching bag in order to deflect from them. So should they shut up? Yes, they should shut the hell up and leave her name out their mouth. But will they? Probably not, because the last thing Tisha and Marsau or Maurice and Kimmy want is for someone to talk about their business. So they always have to talk about someone else's business. And that's just the scheme they've been running on Love Marriage Huntsville from season 1. So Melody then mentions that Tiffany had made a statement that Keke and her husband, how could their son go to this new school if they don't live in that district? This is some real Karen shit. Tiffany, that side of her is coming out. Like, that is some stuff that is just ridiculous. Parents who have children in high school, who are in any type of program, are always going to look towards the school that is best for their children. I'm in the process of hunting high schools right now. So this is a real issue. But what Tiffany is doing is foul. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know these people's business. And if you think you know, you thought wrong. Tiffany needs to stop being so messy when it comes to Keke and find out where Lou is at. Where is Lou, ma'am? That's what we want to know. You done had a whole baby by a man who told you he didn't want one. And you and your husband admittedly been cheating in previous relationships. So you might want to find out what's happening with Lou. Is he emotionally getting involved with someone else? Is he using his job and his workplace to avoid having contact with you and the baby because that's not the lifestyle he wanted? Is he actually in another relationship with somebody and you don't want to address that? So you over here doing what the Scotts do. Look at Keke. Talk about that and stop pulling this negative attention to yourself because you're being messy. I typically don't have a problem with Tiffany. I know she's a little shady, but at this point, honey, you need to take care of your own household. Because you got some stuff going on too. And you should be talking about that. Just like them Scotts should be talking about what they going through. But they not. So the next scene is Tisha and Marsau in their bedroom. Been here. Done this. But we going to do it again because they ain't got no other storyline. They ain't got nothing else going on. So Marsau is talking to Tisha about the situation with Keke. And of course, Tisha's talking about how she's done and she's not going to have a relationship with Keke. And Marsau's all of a sudden feeling bad about his interaction with Stormi and addressing her in a rude manner with regards to what her understanding of drugs and people who've been on drugs is, because he was wrong. Then he's also all of a sudden saddened by the fact that Keke and Tisha are not going to have their relationship, a relationship which he has not supported at any point in time on this show, I might add. So again, he's laying in the bed talking to her about Keke, and Tisha is feeling like she's come too far in her life to keep opening herself up to Keke. I'm trying to figure out, how is Tisha better than Keke? She's always talking about what she's come from and how she's grown, but you've never told us what you've grown from. You've never said, oh, I went from this to this to this. What is it that you've grown from? Because there are people who have claimed, and there are criminal charges on the internet with the name that matches yours that says you have been accused of theft and have been arrested for being a booster. Now, some could assume and make the connection that if you were boosting at a low level, the scams you all are doing right now at a higher level is not a change. It's not growth. It's not you being better. It's just you scamming and stealing at a higher level. So if these accusations are true, allegedly you've been arrested for shoplifting and boosting items from stores with a child. And we just heard Amin say, some people boost and steal and they teach their kids how to do it. Have you done that? Have you boosted and was stealing and told your children how to do that? Is that what you mean when you say you've grown and you've changed and you're now accountable? Are you accountable to Zen Gardens for the mistakes you guys made allegedly during that contract? Are you accountable for anything? I haven't seen it. Are you accountable for the mistakes that you made at the expo? Because you didn't seem accountable. You didn't seem like you was even open. No, it's not you didn't seem. You literally said you were not open to feedback. So how are you accountable? Now, for the umpteenth time, why is this man, your husband, laying in your bed talking about Melody and bringing up Melody as a storyline? I think that's inappropriate. Why is he going back to Melody? Out of all the things people said in the town hall, why did he go back there to use the example of her not being accountable? If I was Mel, I would be above and beyond, and I'm pretty sure she is. I'm tired of them talking about me in their bedroom. Like, that's the last place anybody would want to be bringing up Marsau and Tisha. Ain't nobody in their bedroom talking about Marsau and Tisha. Why does he always feel it appropriate to discuss Mel in his bedroom? So again, we've seen this scene before. There's nothing new from the Scotts. They're just going back and regurgitating scenes that they've had before. They're regurgitating topics. They're giving you the same storyline. Nothing new there to see. Nothing. So scene 3 is all-time fave of the episode because we get to see Miss Van. And we have not had the opportunity to see her a lot during this season. Why, I don't know. But it's really nice to see her. And Melody has an event planner coming on to help her plan her name change ceremony. And then Miss Van comes in and Melody's talking to her about the party and the event that she's planning. And so the event planner goes out into the back. She's looking at the yard, wants to take some pictures so she can design kind of the event. And then Miss Van is sitting there with Melody, and Melody tells her she received a letter from the state of Alabama and she wants her to open the letter. And so Mel opens the letter and we get to see the moment in which she finds out that her name change is complete. And that was a really touching moment. I understand Miss Van crying because she was there with her daughter while she was going through everything. And she was there with her daughter when she got married. And she probably supported Mel and Martell very much so and loved him like a son and thought that this relationship would go one way. And so when you have the type of divorce that they had and all the families involved, that's a death for everybody. That is a death for everybody. It is a death for Mel. It is a death for the children. It's a death for her family. It's a death for his family. Martell, his extended family, his brother, his mother, everyone loses when people destroy a marriage. Everyone loses. And so it's a hurtful thing that Mel had to go through, but it's also a hurtful thing that Miss Van had to go through. And the name change, it makes it all complete. It closes the loop, and it's her time to actually get the credit for what she has done. And that's what Martell gets so mad about. When she's Melody Holt, he can take credit for all that she has done because nobody was able to discern who was doing what in the marriage. But now that she's Melody Cherie Rogers and he's Martell Holt, you can clearly see where the brains and the understanding of the business and the motivation and the hustle and the grind. You understand who was holding everything down and putting everything together and making them who they were. She was the brains behind Holt, and when he was married to her, he could take credit for that. He was the brawn. He could go out, he could be in his suits, he could look good, he could shake hands, and he could be in the community, and everybody can, oh, Martell, 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 because in the South, there is a mindset that women are less than men. And he utilized that mindset. He played on it. But the truth is, Melody was the brains behind most of that. I'm sure Martell in his own way contributed in somehow, in some way, but I don't know how much you can be doing if you running around sleeping with everybody in Huntsville and making babies. You was not at work all that time. You was not when you having affair after affair after affair and tricking off females in your community. You can't do that. So this right now is huge because she gets credit 100% now for her business acumen, for her hustle, for her grind, for her understanding of her businesses and her developing 7th Avenue. She gets her own credit, and that's what he hates about it. He can no longer be validated off of her back, and that's why her name is always in this man's mouth, always. So really amazing scene. Carlos King in production. Hope you all continue to put Miss Van on the show because that is what we want to see. So the next scene is Stormi going to visit Keke at the new home. So Keke's on her apology tour. So she's apologizing to Stormi, but snatching them cards out her hand. But honey, listen, if Stormi about it like she say she about it, she didn't need no apology for you snatching them cards out her hand. She knew what time it was, okay? That's why she was sitting there looking buck-eyed like, what's going on? Okay, she knew what time it was, so whatever. So Keke's saying that she wished that she didn't love Tisha, and you know, the conversation that they both be having about how they wish they weren't each other's lives and they gonna, you know, stay separate from each other. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know why they find it necessary to feed off of each other the way that they do, but like I've been saying, the best thing for Keke would be to not have any interaction with Tisha and to take this opportunity to separate herself from Tisha and Marsau and develop her win. Like, what is going to be your path to utilize this platform to build your brand and to make you better, and do it 100% separate from Tisha and Marsau, because if you don't, they will latch on to you, they will take credit for what you've done, and they will act like you had to use them to get it done. So my thing is just back away from them and keep them out of your life while you're winning. You have a following. People like Keke. And so Keke should just take that and go with that. She shouldn't use her relationship with Tisha for anything. She should stay away from them. And if years from now they get back together and they're cool, that's fine. But I would do that after 100%. Build back up my brand, my reputation, and you have things that you are doing on your own in which you're successful. Okay? That's my opinion. So she also was commenting about Tisha not accepting the truth about, Marsau. She never wants to address Marsau cheating. Again, Tisha is never going to address Marsau cheating because she doesn't have a problem with it. He can go to Africa by himself. She knows what he was doing. She just does not like when other people find out. She's 100% okay with it. They have an open relationship. She just does not want to be embarrassed, but she's okay with him screwing any and everything, and so should everybody else be. Who cares what he screws? Her marriage, her body, her problem. That's my opinion. So then Keke tells Stormi about Tiffany, discussing them moving to a new school district. And she also mentioned to Stormi about Tiffany making comments about her hair care products or her products that she sells. Now, hopefully we will be able to see the statement from Tiffany at some point in time in the show. I don't like when they discuss things that people supposedly said, but they never show it. And then they'll come back and do some replays later and they have the info. So hopefully they will show this. I want to see it because I don't really know what statement she's talking about. I haven't seen that, but I would like to see it. If they have the video or they have that information, release it so we can see what Tiffany said exactly. But essentially, Stormi is not tripping off of what Tiffany said because she's like, she can't stop nothing going on over here. So Stormi's basically wanting to hear that from Tiffany herself, but she's not really reacting to what Keke said in the moment. So the next scene is Tisha, Melody, and Kimmy going to work out together with Mel's trainer. And Mel comes up, she's in good spirits. Tisha pulls up and she's 100% doing the shit she always does. She's being a bitch. And I don't know why people keep making an effort to deal with this woman. I don't think her and Marsau should ever be invited back to this show. They don't bring anything to it. She comes up. Now, last time we seen Melody and Tisha, they were hugging and talking, and Melody's asking her how she's doing, and she's talking to Marsau. All is well. There is no problem between Mel and Tisha. They sit down after the workout, and no, before they even get to that, she comes up to where Mel is standing, does not hug her, and is cold to her. They're literally standing there not talking because Tisha has an attitude. Mel don't know what the hell's going on with Tisha. She's just like, okay, all right, Tisha's in the mood. But what's going on with Tisha is her man keeps laying in the bed talking about Melody to her. But you know what? That's your man. That's what he do. Be mad at him. Melody cannot control that she stays and occupies this man's headspace 24/7. She didn't ask to be in his head. He put her there on his own. She would very much like not to take up his space in his head in your bedroom. She literally asked y'all to quit making her y'all scenes. But since y'all want to keep doing that and don't want to discuss yourself, and your man is always checking for her, then that's what he spends his time talking to you about in y'all bedroom. That ain't got nothing to do with her. So stop being mad at Mel because you won't be mad at your husband. Same way you mad at Keke because you won't be mad at your husband. Be mad at your husband and quit making everybody else have to deal with your anger that you refuse to put on other people. It's misdirected anger. Be mad at the man you should be mad at and not at everybody else. They didn't do anything. So they go in, they working out, and afterwards they sit down and they're supposed to have a conversation and they're catching up on what happened after the barbecue. So Mel is telling them that Keke's apologetic for, doing that at Kimmy's home. But then, here comes Tisha claiming that Keke's on drugs. Now, Mel has already done the test. So I'm interested to see when she's going to tell them that Keke's clean because she knows Keke's clean. But Tisha is still saying she knows she's on drugs. She's borrowing money from people in the family. She could be borrowing money from people in the family because they just moved and she needed some money. That don't mean she's on drugs. The way that they're correlating drugs to everything this woman does is crazy to me. She's not on drugs just because she threw a drink on you, and she's not on drugs because she borrowed money from somebody. Those two things have nothing to do with each other. Melody asked her point blank, are you sure nothing happened before, when y'all spoke before, that contributed to what basically happened at the barbecue? Then Tisha ready to leave because guess what? She would have to discuss the topic, which they have avoided, and production has allowed them to avoid this whole time. And this is why this show will never get a 10. It'll never get a 10 because everyone knows that production is protecting the Scotts. And we don't want you to keep selling us bullshit and say, oh, this is a great episode, because you don't want to tell their business. If they're on Love and Marriage Huntsville and cheating is a part of marriages, and that's what's happening, and that's what's impacting the show, you should be showing that. You should not be protecting the Scotts from things that the Holts built this show on. The Holts had to tell about their infidelity. So the Scotts should have to discuss whatever situation and however they structured their marriage. but they never do. And that's why you constantly lose viewers. That's why you're constantly losing support for this show. That's why you never get people on here raving that the show is a 10 out of 10. Consistently, it would be a 10 out of 10 if everyone was held accountable to be truthful. The Fletchers have already come on it instantly. They said, yes, we dealt with infidelity in our marriage. How hard was that? It was very simple. But these Scotts want to keep fronting like everything's perfect and they're all just these great business people, and it's not true. And I love the Tisha's play on words. She says that Keke threatened her. Keke didn't threaten her, and she's not threatened by Keke. If she was threatened by Keke, she wouldn't have kicked this shit off. When Keke came to the barbecue, she just would have said, hey, how you doing, and kept it moving. No, you decided to pull a stunt and try to shade her publicly. And then Marsau decided that you all were going to ignore her when she was talking. You're the antagonist here. It was not Keke. She came in with good intentions to speak and have a nice evening. You antagonized her because you knew it would kick some shit off, and eventually she would be the one to have to leave. That's what happened. So please stop with the threats. She didn't threaten you. She drink slapped you. That's it. And in true Tisha form, when she's asked to discuss what happened, were there any conversations prior to the start of all this, she gets up and she leaves. And I feel like she should stay gone. Like, I think it is time for the Scotts to leave the show, and she needs to stay gone or give them their own show and see what those ratings look like. If you find them valuable, then give them their own show in their own space and let them tell people all the lies they want to. Give it to them. But I don't think they should be on Love and Marriage Huntsville. I think Huntsville's a booming city. It's a lot of businesses there. You have to have more couples in Huntsville that are doing things with business than these Scotts. You have to. And I'm saying bring them on. Now, the next scene is with Nell, and I love Nell. I know that some people may have a problem with her, but I love Nell. I love everything about Nell. I love the fact that her and the Fletchers are showing what it's like to be friends to both Melody and Martell. I like that they're showing that is a struggle. They not sure how to navigate it either. That's why they told this fool not to divorce his wife and to do the things that he was doing, but he didn't listen. He did it anyway. And so what you're seeing is stuff that real people go through when they're couples that divorce. Most people will just choose the side because it's easier to say, I'm a rock with so-and-so or I'm a rock with her. But to sit in the middle and try to be friends with both is very hard. That's why a lot of people don't do it. So Nell looks beautiful in her confessional, and she's talking to Martell. He comes over and brings some Anise wine for an event that they're going to have. And so he's sitting there talking to her about Melody's name change ceremony. Nell is being messy by bringing this up, but she's also just letting him know that they're going to attend because she don't want him to be, I heard Nell and Chris Fletcher was there and nobody ever told him. So she's being transparent with the man. She's trying to tell him what's happening. Martell taking offense to Melody changing her name is strictly due to him wanting to ride her back for validation. He can't hide under the Holt name and take credit for her work anymore. He's going to have to 100% show up and show out in his own right. He can no longer say, oh, that's Holt, we did this together, No, you're separate 100% now, period. He has no claim to her anymore, and that's what he hates. He does not love Melody at all. He loved the validation that she gave him. He loved how she propped him up in the community and made him bigger and made him appear better than he ever was, clearly. And he's working day and night trying to get everyone he can turned against her, and it's not working. And that's what angers him. That is what pisses him off. That's what makes him allow a gutter snipe like Coleslaw to utilize his own children to make Melody mad. He is running out of ways to get to her. And this gets really dangerous. This gets really dangerous when dealing with narcissists, because you're starting to see he don't even care about the kids. He'll use anything and everybody to get at her. Anything and everybody to get at her. The idea that they have a better relationship privately than they show on the show is a lie. This woman takes security with her, as she just said in this episode, everywhere she goes, and she mentioned specifically dealing with the crazy ex-husband. She's shown us pictures of her at the games with her security. She is not there because she thinks the parents are going to bother her. They're there because she knows Martell is not a safe space for her. He is a dangerous threat to her. That's why she needs security. That's why. So this idea that they're the best of friends at the games is a lie. It's not true. If a parent walks up and they say hello to you because the kids are standing there, she's trying to give the impression that you two are cordial so that the kids can have some peace. That is 100% what she is doing for her children. I would suggest this to Mel. If he is perceiving you speaking when the children are around as y'all being besties, stop speaking. Don't even give his ass that. Them kids gonna be okay. Stop speaking. Sometimes kids just gotta know what it is. Stop speaking. If you think me speaking to you means we're the best of friends and we're being cordial, stop speaking and stop answering the damn phone. Let him leave a message and send a text message or something. But you're going to have to get it through these courts' head that this man is dangerous. You're going to have to speak to the dangers and the things that the danger that he's placed you in, the things that he's done to you. You're going to have to divulge all that to the courts until they get it in their head that this is the type of man that will wipe out everything. You can't play with these types of people. There is no end to what they'll do. Not a lot of people in the world have to walk around with security to defend themselves against their ex-husband. That is a huge deal. That's huge. He's torn up reunion sets. He's attacked her staff, male and female. The courts should know everything so they can understand why you don't have to speak, or they can understand why it's not good for you to hold any kind of conversation with this man whatsoever. He perceives a hello as them being besties because that's what he wants, because he wants to be able to utilize that relationship as being great, so somebody will help him with business. Somebody will give him a business deal because he is the father of Melody Cherie's kids and they have a great relationship. They do not. And he knows that. So he's pissed that the Fletchers are going to her name change ceremony because he thinks they should see how this will negatively impact him. And nobody sees it because the shit he's feeling is not normal. Nobody would make that connection because there is no connection. This is not normal behavior. And so he's livid, yet again, talking about affairs that Melody's had and the proof that he's had, be it the fake video that he sent to her that he was going to utilize for the revenge P, or recordings. Whatever he has, does it really matter? Why are you still talking about affairs? Why is this woman's name in every one of your scenes? Every scene he has, he talks about Mel. It is crazy. They've been divorced for too long for him to still be doing this. But Carlos and production allow it. They know she has security. They've seen her show up at reunion shows with security, never addressed it, never talked about it, just hid it. Because for some reason, it's important to protect this demon. It's beyond me. So overall, decent episode. I think that this last scene with Nell and Martell just goes to show that he's not going to stop ever trying to pit all the friends against Melody. Nell is caught in between her friendships with both of them, and she's going to go back and ask Mel because he said it, and Mel's going to repeat what Mel has said many times over. I feel like what Martell did at her home was disrespectful. I feel like Chris needs to check his ass. I feel like you don't come to people's house arguing with their spouse. Have that conversation with her man. That's your friend. That is who you argue with. These men on this show have a problem with arguing with women who are married. Argue with their husbands. That's how this works. So we shall see. It didn't change anything. Nell and Chris are going to go to the name change ceremony, and he's like, I won't be there. I don't think, sir, you never got an invite. So why are you wording it like you won't be there? You were never and have never been invited to anything at her home. He lives in a space of delusion and confusion. He will continue to be a problem until he gets his head right or he directs all this negative attention elsewhere. So let's hope at some point he fixates on someone else and moves on with his life, because I'm so tired of this stalker, harasser, manipulator, psychotic person mistreating his ex-wife on national television. He needs to be stopped. He needs to go over there with them Scots. Carlos King, make 2 shows. Send Martell and them Scots to one and leave Mel, Nell, Tiffany, and Stormi can run in between both, but separated. These are different caliber people, and the shows will bring different things. Separate them. So what did y'all think? I give this episode a 6 or 7. It would have been great if it had less Scott, less Martell doing the same thing they always done. But I give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. What did y'all think? What did y'all think about the episode? Drop me some comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you guys soon.
Get out the way. Who got a watch? Who got the time? I'm raising the clock. Even if my feelings grind don't stop. Got big dreams.